Welcome to the Sector Spin with Terry. In this video series, I share with you what I'm watching each week in the various sector industry subgroups. Now, recently, we've been seeing the return of rising momentum and relative strength in the technology sector. And last week, I showed you the strength in the software subgroup of the technology sector. This week, I want to continue to search for more trading opportunities that may be hidden there. Now, first, I want to start at the higher level of the market here, and I want to peel back the layers for a deeper look. These are the 11 sectors of the S&P, and you can see here the technology sector has a blue vector, which indicates an improving trend is in place. Furthermore, this sector has been moving in a northeasterly heading, coming up out of the lagging quadrant into and now almost all the way through the improving quadrant, and is poised to cross over into our leading quadrant, likely within next week's vector update. Now next, let's take a look at the top 30 stocks by market cap that make up the XLK. And once again, we'll look at the weekly RRG. I see a much more organized sector with the majority of the vectors moving north to northeast, which means these stocks are experiencing rising momentum and investor interest. Now think money flowing into these stocks by institutional traders when I talk about rising momentum. Now, as the stocks begin to turn more easterly, this indicates rising relative strength compared to the benchmark S&P. Rising relative strength means the stock is continuing to gain price appreciation faster than the benchmark. Now note there are several stocks here in the improving quadrant with those blue vectors showing improving trends as well. Another way to look at the technology sector is to break it down into the individual industry subgroups. Here I have the 8 subgroups that compose the XLK. Now we can apply the same technical analysis to these subgroups just as easily as for the sector or the individual stocks. Now right here is the software subgroup that I presented to you last week. And look here just to the left of it, the computer hardware group is seen with an improving trend in the improving quadrant. Also just below here is the semiconductor index, also seen in the improving quadrant with a very high velocity rising momentum as well. A bit further down in the lagging quadrant but sporting a rising trend is the electronic equipment index. Now seeing this many subgroups rising together is a very positive signal that the technology sector is well on its way to returning to a leadership position. Let's look at a price chart of the computer hardware index. It set a new all-time high on January 25th and has been in a sideways consolidation phase ever since. But here on June 23rd, we see the 20-day simple moving average crossing above the 50-day moving average, and shortly thereafter the previous all-time high was broken to the upside and we set a new all-time high on July 15th. A new uptrend is once again in place, and look to this previous all-time high now no longer as resistance but as a support level as this little brief consolidation here plays out. Now let's look at the stocks that compose this particular index. There are 22 in this list. Now note also here, looking at the RRG, there are very few of these stocks currently in the leading quadrant, but a majority of stocks here are showing the type of characteristics that we are looking for when we're looking for new investment and trading opportunities. We like to see these rising vectors, especially when they start moving in a northeasterly heading. You can already see Roku and Apple in the improving quadrant sporting the blue vector, which signals improving trends in progress. Several other smaller market cap stocks are still down here in the lagging quadrant, but are rising up into the leading quadrant. They could be positioning themselves for a future move over the next several weeks and months to become our new sector leaders. Now, those down here in the weakening quadrant, also with some rising vectors, are stronger stocks in terms of relative strength performance, and they are also looking to reaffirm their leadership status once again as well as they push back up into the leading quadrant. I hope I've inspired you to take the results of this screening effort to the next step, using your own trade planning techniques to set up your next set of winning trades. If you followed any of my prior recommendations, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Please check us out at tradinganalysis.com for more great market analysis and a great member community where you can get more trade ideas and share yours with our active community. Thank you for your time and attention, and have a great weekend.